Can you believe it? Spoiled. You're spoiled. Now, we're not going to watch the whole thing today. If you really must after this, we can. This is the highlights of Blair White's podcast with Alex Jones. Blair White and Alex Jones on her podcast. I can't imagine this isn't a shit show. It's called Getting Drunk and Discussing Transgenderism with Alex Jones. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm sure there's nothing crazy here.
I'm not against gay people, but I don't want them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. I mean, you come off like a woman. You look like a woman. They had spiders.
You come off like a woman, you look like a woman. Oh, boy.
Goats that were part spiders, whose udders were basically spider spinnerets, because the rest of the goat looks like a goat. It's ma'am, I'm going to beat your ass.
Hey.
Her ramble was just a gorilla.
Okay. All right. It's going to be one of those. Drip alert. Thanks for following. Oh, boy.
Hey guys, what you're about to watch is a clip from a new episode with Alex Jones from my new podcast that just launched, The Blair White Project. It airs the day after this video goes live on my second channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
and trash is. What do you think trash is? What does trash mean to you? Pleasant videos? Hell no.
I did what I consider to be the most interesting interview Alex has ever done, full stop. I asked him the hard questions about the lawsuits against him, his mistakes, controversies, what he's done that he's proud of, and I think that regardless of your feelings about him, when the full episode launches tomorrow, I think you'll find it fascinating. Trans issues, human-animal hybrids, aliens, psychedelics, you name it, it's all gonna be there, and we were drinking the whole time. Enjoy this clip, and then make sure you tune in the day after this video goes live for the full experience.
They can't say that.
Exactly. It's an orthodoxy. And like getting back to that, whenever I was here last week, a lot of people were commenting online. I saw it.
It sounds like it hurts for him to talk.
Like, well, wait a minute. He hates people that are trans or whatever, but then he's here being a hypocrite. And no, I've never been a hypocrite. I'm not against any adults with whatever they want to do. I'm a libertarian when it comes to that. I've never changed that view. You've been listening for a long time. You know that. What I don't like is whether it's homosexual, heterosexual, whatever it is, children need to be left alone and be innocent. And if a dude walked up and started trying to tell my kids at the park, 5 and 6 year olds, about sex, you call the police. But what is the school doing it? Leave people alone.
But it's not about sex. I don't know. I don't know why we're even trying to argue with fucking Alex Jones. But I mean, like, I would love to sit down across from Alex Jones and talk. Because I feel like, does he understand that it's not about sex when you're just attracted to somebody? And other people need, like, he probably wouldn't, right? He probably wouldn't. He's too fucking wacky. He's fucking crazy. I just feel like it's so easy to wrap your mind around the idea. And if he's a libertarian, right? Wrap your mind around the idea that kids can get crushes on each other, right? Just the concept of this. We don't talk about any other aspect of this. Because it's really not sexual in the way that sexual orientation seems to mean to these people. Like, I don't think when I was 4 years old or 5 years old and I had a crush on Haley. I remember her name. I had a crush on Haley. Okay? And I never told her because at 5 years old I had no courage. And but I do remember being just broken up as a 5-year-old. That she had a crush on somebody else. And you know who that somebody else was? Zach Hansen, the drummer of Hanson. Celebrity Zach Hansen. I was no match. I'm not a drummer, nor am I a Hanson. It was sad. Haley and I were never meant to be. I hope she's doing okay. She had big old milkies last time I saw her in our 20s. But we didn't talk very much. So I hope her and her milkies are doing great. Shout out to all of you with your milkies. I remember that. I was like, damn, okay. And I'm sure she was like, damn, working at McDonald's, huh? Didn't he get caught looking at transport along? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, of course he is. Anyway. So cringe.
And let them do what they want as adults, and then let them make their own decisions. That's what freedom's all about. So I've never been hypocritical, and I've never been, a fraud about that. I think you're a really nice person, really smart, neat person. I like you a lot. So I think he was a friend. So to me, it doesn't matter. It's individuals and what they want to do in their own lives.
They call me the same shit. It's like
they call you the same shit.
So it's funny that you mentioned they're calling you a hypocrite. I thought when you first started that sentence, you were going to say people were calling me that because I saw that about me. It's like,
I thought, Alex Jones, when you started talking, it was going to be about me, is maybe the most Blair White sentence she could have possibly said in that situation.
how could you sit there and talk with him or hang out with him? Which, first of all, this
I
is the
know.
first time
Imagine, Haley, this could be your life right now.
we've been on camera together. This is like the second or third.
What a
But
loser.
second of all, how are you going to tell me?
You know, what's interesting is I think she moved, and I don't think we actually went to high school together. Now that I think about it, I think she moved
behind a screen.
If we had gone to high school together, I probably would have asked her out at some point if she was cool still.
He
I don't
feels
remember, though.
when I've been in a room.
We were
with
children.
him. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, but that's what's happening is you were on my show like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, I thought you're a really smart person.
You were my first interview ever.
So I was lucky you came on my show. You're a really smart, neat person, and so it's just not real. I mean, you come on
A really smart, neat person. Every time he says that, it sounds like. Do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like a dude that is attracted to a person, but is scared to come across as though he is attracted for fear of sounding gay, because he thinks it's still gay. I'm just saying. Oh my God, did you bring me a Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar? She did? But she's taking it extremely slow from the door. She totally didn't just walk back to the kitchen to get one for me. She could have also just abandoned. No, she's fine with the bit. She's fine with the bit, and she's handing it to me. Okay, cool. Thank you. Love you.
Me too.
What are you lurking behind me for?
I just had to.
Are you stalking
pee,
me?
And I wanted to come tell you I love you.
Because you had to pee? You thought of me when you had to pee? That's pretty cute. Wonder why. I don't know why you'd associate me with such an activity, but... Can I have a kiss? Do you want me to turn the screen off?
Sure.
Chat, don't listen. Okay, that was totally fine. Nothing happened. What is on... Is that on Ellie's butt, or is that a dead pixel on my screen here?
There's one on
Can you
her
see it?
butt.
There's nothing on her butt. This right here. It's just a pixel on my screen.
Oh yeah, there's a pixel.
Like I have a dead one. Or it's just on... Wait. Is it still there? I'll hold my fingy. I'll hold my fingy and change scenes. It is! Damn it. Okay. Rip.
Ellie, don't have stuff stuck to your butt.
You see it? It's on stream? It is? Oh, okay. So it's on... Wait. That's so weird. How is it... But I definitely... Wait. Is it on this as well? No, it's not. So it's just on the camera. Maybe it's on the camera. Okay, it was just the wipe I was seeing. Is it? Is it on the camera? No. Where is it? Where does that artifact exist? Oh, wait, is this what Brooke saw earlier? Is it actually just on the thing? Hold on. Nope. What the is it on my camera? Yep. What? Okay, so I guess it's on the camera. We found it. Anyway, back to this. Sarah, edit now.
Off like a woman. You look like a woman.
come off like a
It's
woman.
natural that you're a woman. But then you get some giant former, ex-con armed robber prisoner who's like deadlifting 600 pounds.
I see.
And he's like, somebody goes, "Hey, dude, how you doing?" "Yeah, man, I'll get to you next." He's like, "It's ma'am, I'm going to beat your ass." And he's like sitting there. That's not a woman.
There are so many cis women that are like that. There are plenty of cis women that are just big and tough and aggressive.
Different.
It's different. And then sitting there,
like, I gotta be honest. When I think about it, I've never seen someone who identifies as a trans woman come across as like what he's describing. Fascinating. I'm sure they exist, and you're valid. I just don't know where the stereotype comes from.
letting a thug do that.
A
it's
thug?
like no one buys it. And so I'm not one way for one audience and one way for another. It's all completely.
That seems hypocritical to me. Anyone can do what they want, but that's not a woman. I mean that sounds pretty easily hypocritical.
There, I don't hate anybody. I'm not a hypocrite, and I'm not sitting there putting people down. You're not hurting anybody. You're
and
not.
it's more convenient for us to hate each other. Let's just be real. It keeps things the way that it is, and it keeps this crazy divide by making it more convenient for me to sit here and think that you're going to have a grudge against me or that you're
Yeah,
not
but
going
I
to
don't
like
just
me.
not dislike you. I like you.
Exactly.
And I like the crew out here and all these cool people. I mean, it's just stupid. And what I'm saying is it shouldn't
They both foment this exact like issue. Like they both create the space that they're saying they dislike.
be a political agenda what people do in their personal lives or their identities or who they are.
You just said that they were invalid 1 second ago. Insane. I would love to talk to Alex Jones because he's actually genuinely inconsistent. Obviously, we'd love the content, but I mean, like, I would do it for free. I would talk to him privately. That's how fascinating someone like Alex Jones is. Now, I might not talk to him a second time privately because I feel my suspicions about him are true, but boy, do I really just want to know. I want to know he's crazy. I don't want to suspect that he's actually just this guy. Because he says it's an act, right? But maybe he does believe all this fucking stuff.
And there was one thing about humans, we change our environment and we change who we are, and it is a fact that we are controlling our evolution. But the globalists then hijack that great truth and say, that's right.
Yeah, he just seems so into it. Like, he's definitely a fucking loony bin.
We're going to control the evolution.
I feel like he's not. You think this is an act? I don't know. Look at his eyes.
And we're going to be in the driver's seat, and that should not be done.
You said that it was a...
I want to do that. Can we take a 5-second break?
Yes.
All right. That water you had was so good, and I stole it. And I'm going to be good this week, okay?
We need a little more water.
Does that mess you up?
No, you're fine.
I'm going to try to get out of this and see if we can go eat. So
Yeah, we should go out to eat.
we should. Let's just sit this next.
Yeah, you're good.
Fuck it. Go ahead,
I'm gonna
sorry.
have a sip of this too.
That's
Why?
yours. I
Yeah.
stole yours.
So
Let's start over. But I mean, here's the deal. Start your question over. I apologize.
yeah, you're good.
This video is sponsored by none other
Why is Adam and Eve sponsoring this? Don't do that. Don't do that.
percent off free shipping.
You mentioned, and I want you to get more into it and tell me a little more because I'm fascinated by it. You said that
He
it
has 20 years of this?
was
Yes.
a depopulation.
I feel like he believes it, though. That's why I want to know. That's why I want to talk to him, because, like, I suspect it's genuine, but if it's not, it's so much worse.
Scheme. So what is that? 'Cause
Sure,
I want to know.
and it doesn't mean that people have a proclivity or genetically or for whatever reason are predisposed to something or bad people. It means there's an agenda hijacking that to basically, because obviously you're super smart and
You're super smart. Blair White is super smart.
successful. But I've had members of the UK Parliament on there, even liberals, where the overall
His mic needs to be, like, I don't know if you guys have these, but this on the other side has like a little twisty boy. Watch. And then I can lock it into place. He needs it. He needs it on his the knuckle that's right here. Keep sliding down on him.
they are targeting autistic boys, and they are targeting low
Has to
IQ
be
and
fake.
Down
I don't
syndrome.
know. conspiracy theory people are like that though. Like that's why it's so hard to understand them, is because like things that are like obviously fake, they totally buy. Q is a great example.
Syndrome and stuff, as a way to make sure that they don't have any children. They are basically using that as the cover for sterilization. And then also there's a larger issue of all the studies. We have a lake in East Texas at our ranch, and we wanted to get carp in it to eat the plant, so it's clear water. And you go to the state of Texas and they give you sterilized carp that have had a chemical put in the water that makes them asexual. And so what we know is atrazine and a lot of other chemicals in utero in the first trimester can basically change a lot of the sexual traits, either physically or also where you can see it, or to a less degree inside brain development. And so you do have a lot of boys
It keeps falling.
who in utero are more feminine and express more feminine traits. And so it really is the fact that they are more like a girl than a boy. And that's showing up in mammals, it's showing up in reptiles, it's showing up everywhere with the chemicals. And so that's where you get the famous, I'm not against gay people, but I don't want them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. And like literally all over the world, different species of frogs that get these chemicals are no longer attracted to the opposite sex. Whatever it does in the endocrine disruptors it causes a bunch of things to happen. And so we should be having a larger discussion about why there's this proclivity and why this is happening, not hate people that have been affected by it. And of course, going back thousands of years ago, there were a certain percentage of the population that was already like that to begin with. So
Bro, this thing is driving me nuts. He needs to just tighten it.
I don't hate any of those people.
Keeps
What
going
I'm getting
down.
at is
I can't stop looking at
is
it.
that there is a larger scientific body of evidence that shows that this is a cultural thing, but more importantly, it's something happening biological.
I don't understand why we would give a shit. Oh, whoops. We need the emote wall. We need the emote wall at the top. There we go. Now the emotes should be on top of everything. Everyone check your emotes. Yeah, now they're good.
Yeah, I think
Yeah?
I don't know which is scarier, the cultural part or the biological, because like I've felt trans my entire life. Probably 5 was the earliest age I had the feelings. But I also am able to recognize that as I get older, I'm watching 5-year-olds being told they're that way, which is the opposite for me, which was I had these feelings and
I really don't think they're being told. What seems to be happening is that 5-year-olds are experiencing these feelings or aren't experiencing these feelings, and the parents are simply not pressing one way or the other, or in between or outside. You know what I mean? Like they're not assigning a gender. That's not telling anybody not to do anything, or not telling anybody what to do. And in fact, I would argue 100% that people are told to be cis at an astronomically higher rate than people are told to be trans. I've never seen anyone be groomed to be trans in a story. I'm sure it's happened. I mean, the only time I can think of it is they did that twin experiment, right? And the person who was otherwise cis was forced the other way and had tremendous dysphoria. It was terrible. Where do you even begin with that stream of word? I mean,
they weren't validated by everyone around me or pushed. It was just the kind of fucking happened. But now you have these 5-year-olds that are being told because they like girly things or because they like boyish things as a girl that they must be the opposite sex.
That's not what is happening. I have no idea why she thinks that. Where is that coming from? Blair, give an example of this.
Ideological push. And I guess that would make sense if the theory is that this is a depopulation scheme, or at least one aspect.
A depopulation scheme? Bro, I'm just a leftist. I just can't possibly give a shit about what people want to do with their lives. That's it. That's the whole thing. I cannot bring myself to care about what you want to be.
Of it, but that's scary.
Well, I mean, there is no doubt they want to destroy the family, and they don't want to have single family dwellings, and they want to not just have GMO.
I agree with that.
Not just have GMO crops, they want to have GMO people.
No,
And you've got all these animal-human hybrids that they never roll out in the public, but they've been producing in all these different medical experiments that don't have rights. They don't have animal rights. They don't have human rights. They're this no man's land. And so they're kind of using the trans agenda to get you used to saying a biological man can compete against women, or a biological man can be in prison and 2 women got pregnant. That's not true. So they're also just using it to basically be illogical. And
tea with the goblins. Thanks to 12 months. Well, since calling live, had to deal with some capitalist fuckery, but I'm always glad to see you fighting the good fight with corny panache and a total lack of fucks. Please, hey, thank you.
scapegoat a group of people that are innocent like yourself, and they know what they're doing, and it's total divide
Someone, a producer, finally came in and fucking fixed this.
and conquer, like you said, and it needs to stop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because-
Can I get back? I don't want to forget this question because
ask all your
when
questions.
you were saying it, I
already
was
have
like,
spider
I gotta get
goats
back to this,
queued
but
up.
Then we kept going about the other shit. The human-animal hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know much about that. That just sounds like some crazy shit. Not in a bad way. It just sounds like
Not in a bad way. No, it sounds like crazy shit. Don't hedge, pussy. God, she's such a fucking pussy.
nuts. Can you just give me the for dummies version of what's happening there?
Growing human organs is obviously going to be one of the biggest industries ever.
Yeah.
And you
Maze B. Eroding. Thanks for the prime. 20 months.
it's hard to create artificial wombs to do that.
Okay.
Also, if something's 100% human, it's got rights. And if something's an animal, it's even got rights. But if it's a new species, an alien, which means never been on the earth before, part human, part animal, now that human-animal hybrid doesn't have rights. And so
So he's literally worried about the I'm sorry to bother you horse people? What? That's amazing.
you can gestate it usually in a cow, but they grow other animal-human hybrids, pig human hybrids, you name it, inside cows. Those cows are
They have pig human hybrids inside cows. Huh. I'm a mopey goth bastard and I love money, but I could never hate myself quite as much as Blair must in order to consistently do this to herself for a living. It's crazy. Thanks for the biddies. It's just she has no dignity whatsoever. I tweeted today. I can go find it. I tweeted today not too long ago. Her fucking one of her followers misgendered her. This right here. I said your fans must eat away at your very soul. This is why I have some respect for Blair White. He is afflicted, but he is not disconnected from reality. In a reply to Bryson Gray, like what the fuck? Fox News is not promoting normalized child transgenderism, slippery slopes. Anyway, wow, what a fucking. This must be. It cannot be easy to be Blair by her own doing. You know what I mean? It's a good thing, you idiot. Growing human organs will do wonders for transplant. Let's say, of course. Absolutely. Although they're not making hybrids, do they? They're 3D printing them on lattices of DNA.
generally being given anti-rejection drugs, so
Protein
themselves are
lattices,
part
right.
human, so that they can then not reject the humanoid they're growing up inside of it. And I remember 25 years ago seeing MIT reports on it, and then even 5 years ago they had articles. Human-animal hybrids are gestating or in utero on farms across the U.S. That's a real headline, and it just admits there's thousands of these clones. And I've talked to some people that have worked in biomedical areas that have been involved in it, including University of Texas. And one time I was actually
So, the way he sensationalizes this stuff is the issue. I guess I expected cookies this time. Japan approves first human-animal embryo experiments. The research could eventually lead to new sources of organs for transplant, but ethical and technical hurdles need to be overcome. These have never been brought to term. Insert human cells into rat embryo. I mean, so it's inserting. They make it sound like they're making like a half human, half rat, right? Like that's gonna be like, kill me when it comes out of the tube. You know what I mean? It's gonna be some sort of Cronenberg is what he's sensationalizing it about. What's happening is they're putting stem cells into different things to see if the organs that could be made would be compatible for a human to have. It's just like DNA experiments. I don't know. This doesn't seem ethical, like black territory, unless you're a vegan. We're making Jawas. I don't know how Jawas are made. Don't ruin it for me. Some bioethicists are concerned about the possibility that human cells might stray beyond development of targeted organ, traveling to the developing animal's brain and potentially affect its cognition. That would be interesting. You know what you should do? Make smart other animals, other species, so that we can have like tieflings and shit. That'd be dope.
Given a little tour, and I was off record, so I can't get into all of it, but I was able to see some of these.
Oh my God.
Over CCTV at a facility out in Bastrop from UT downtown. I was able to look at it. It was a DARPA program. That was about 23 years ago. And these were human-animal apes that they're using for medical experiments. And they admit that's going on. It's in the National Academy of Sciences and in the NIH and all that's going on. And so, but here's the deal. I'm talking about it. It's like I'm talking about Mars because it sounds crazy. But,
I don't think it actually sounds that fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. I think it sounds out of what we'd think would be acceptable. But then you look throughout history.
Well, that's it. It's all segregated.
We'll see, because in a second he's gonna make a claim about the spider.
In a way where you don't see it.
Yeah, you think of so
humans
many
are apes. Yes,
history,
that's
you
true.
Think of so many surgeries.
So what that was, by the way, I'm sure, based on all the other things that I've been reading about this, is that they put stem cells in chimps to see what their organs were. But the claim is they've never been taken to term. But
surgeries that we have now that we deem as important in a routine that were born out of the Nazi experiments. And you think of, so much crazy shit that goes on. It's not actually that unbelievable. It's wild, but it's not that unbelievable.
Exactly. And what's frustrating to me is,
why is he calling her demonic? Because he wants
99% of what I cover is open source and not debatable. And then they'll just lie and say I'm making it up. But, I mean, that's really going on. I mean, in the last week, they had the Washington Post, the New York Times, Bloomberg, the Financial Times in London all say it's time to have dictators. Freedom isn't good. It's time to censor. It's time to be in a tyranny.
Bruh, you're Republicans. Bruh, you're voting for those people. Hello?
These are headlines saying this, that it's time to have a dictator. This is what the Davos group and the globalists are selling.
Yeah. I just have another question about the animal hybrids. What level of, this is almost my morbid curiosity, I'm going to a dark place right now. What level of consciousness did they have that they are an experiment? Did they have like animal intelligence? Did they have human intelligence, somewhere in between?
Oh boy.
Do you even know? How much can you say?
Well, if you know how mad scientists work, and if you look at the spirit of evil that runs things, it's mad scientists. This guy's
I've been inspired.
the limit. There are thousands of admitted projects in the U.S. that have happened, thousands in China, ones I've seen in like financial reports out of Costa Rica, South Korea, just everywhere. So,
and don't forget your thought, but I've seen a lot of like studies about like when the government would operate on like mentally children.
Oh, absolutely. You've had all the
I'm glad she believed
secret medical experiments and Tuskegee, but I mean, you were asking how far along it is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know that 23 years ago or so, I saw a CBS News article about a military base in upstate New York that had spider goats on it. So I was my own producer then. So
Spider goats?
Spider goats.
Okay.
So I call the name of the guy on the thing. He answers. He goes,
Spider
yeah, I'll come on
goats.
your show. Yeah, I got a Defense Department contract. I'm a genetic engineer. We create body armor out of the milk of these goats that are, part spider. And all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. He got in a bunch of trouble for talking to me, but he'd been in CBS News. I have had people, after that happened, walk up to me on the street and go, you're a liar. We can't splice goats and spiders. Well, since then, there's thousands of articles admitting spider goats.
He's gonna.
Anybody can type in spider goats. You'll get articles going back, 20 years. The point is that they kind of report it to see what we do, and then
It is real. It is real, but hold on. It's real, but hold on.
they kind of pull back.
Hold on.
And so that's my point is, if 20-something years ago, they had spiders, goats that were part spiders, whose udders were basically spider spinnerets, because the rest of the goat looks like a goat, but the udders are like a spider spinneret deal.
Holy.
Look it up, guys.
Okay. So let's look it up. So spider goats. So anyway, they take the milk and they refine it down, and they get the milk, they get the silk protein out of it, and they make fabrics with it. That's what a spider goat is. Look, hey. If you don't show me a spider goat with spider legs, then you haven't gone too far. And even then, let's see what happens.
I'm not making this up. It's not even debatable. That's 20-something years ago. So, and I interviewed the head of the project.
It was 20. It was like 20-something years. It was more like 15 years ago.
It's just insane. Like, I had the head of Harp on like 25 years ago, because back then I wasn't a big show, so I could just call and get people on. Like, oh yeah, come on, tell us about Harp. He's the top scientist. He comes on. There's an Air Force colonel on the line. In case anything's classified, they kill the interview in 20 minutes and cut the guy off. He's like, well, yeah, Harp can't ignite the atmosphere. We can't control the weather. And like, that's a real interview with the real head of Harp. That really happened. So much of what I've done has just been really open source.
Well, of all the shit that you talk.
Project HARP, short for High Altitude Research Project, was a joint venture of the United States Department of Defense and Canada's Department of National Defense created with the global studying of ballistics of re-entry vehicle and collecting upper atmospheric data for research. Unlike conventional space launching methods, they rely on rockets. HARP instead used very large guns to fire projectiles into the atmosphere at extremely high speeds. Closure. Upon the end of Canadian government's participation in June 1967. What do you mean you had him on? What is? I thought wait. The growing political and financial pressure caused by the Vietnam War, NASA's focus on large-scale traditional rockets strained funding the project as well, exacerbating it. Canadian government drew, and so they didn't. So they just stopped. They stopped it. Performance test of the Yuma 16-inch HARP gun. Damn, you guys interested in the 16-inch HARP gun? Wow. America's quest to shoot its way into outer space. Neat. So anyway, why was Project HARP canceled? HARP critics demanded it should be canceled. Okay. That's okay.
Talk about.
Fun.
I think that the animal-human hybrids are actually probably one of the more believable things that you talk about. I think like that's kind of common sense. It's one of those things people almost wonder, like, it's one of those questions you ask as like a 5-year-old, like, can a dog and a cat have a baby? It's like a very kind of juvenile. Of course, there are scientists that with that and try to make it happen.
Well, exactly. They're called chimeras. It goes back to the Greeks, because they mythically said there were these part man, part horse, part whatever, mermaids. Whether that ever existed or not, it does now.
Mermaids exist now.
Oh, they've definitely tried to splice humans with fish. They've done it all at the embryonic level. It's not debatable. Type in humans spliced with fish.
Okay. Human spliced with fish. At the embryonic level. There it is, your man fish. That's your man fish. You may be familiar with animal hybrids like the mule. Hungarian scientists have created a new animal hybrid when sperm from the American paddlefish and eggs from the Russian sturgeon were mixed in the lab, nicknamed the sturtlefish by the internet. Just the hybrids come more increasingly. What? There's nearly twice the divergence time. Okay, that didn't work. So scientists actually create unlikely fish hybrid. Oh, there's one with teeth. Fish genes work in human cells. Okay. I don't know what that. Human pig hybrid created in the lab. Making fish genes work in human. Is this what he's talking about? Fish genes work in a. Oh, I gotta buy that article. Mixed reactions is fish with human-like teeth. Oh, well, I mean. Okay, so that didn't work. Whoops. Whoops. He never misses. That's right. Didn't miss. I'm not gonna read that, Kirsty. I mean, I did read it, but I'm not gonna show it.
In genetic cloning tests, and there's articles. Humans spliced with insects. Did you know, as of last year, 2021,
real women have scurvy. Thanks for the 3 months.
there's already GMO salmon that's part insect and part mammal that's twice as big as regular salmon being sold on store shelves without telling you.
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't give a shit. Because by part insect and part human or mammal or whatever, I mean, I don't really care. I wouldn't care. GMO salmon. It's going to be my rapper name. That's a good name.